Welcome to the Empowerment Show, a weekly podcast call-in show that's here to enrich and educate the community of beautiful Northeast Pennsylvania and its surrounding areas. Hosted by Kendall Stevenson.
The opinions expressed on the radio program by the host, co-hosts, guests, and call-in listeners or chatters are solely the opinions and responsibility of the original source who expressed them. They do not necessarily represent the opinions of Genesis Radio, www.genesisradio.com, Genesis Radio's owners, management, or affiliates.
Good evening. Can't hear myself, Terry.
Should be able to.
Can't hear myself. There you go. Good evening and welcome to GenesisRadio.com. My name is Kendall. I'll be the host of your show. The show is the Empowerment Show, which is part of Unity in the Community. If you want to give us a call, you can give us a call. The telephone number is 888-304-4401. As we start all shows today, we're going to start the show with a moment of gratitude. So we'd like to say thank you for all the things that we have received. It may not be a religious thing. It doesn't have to be. We're just giving thanks for what we do have and the things that our Creator has allowed us to enjoy. Because we have some of those out there that don't have, some that are homeless. We got people right now that's involved in 2 wars. They want to kill each other all over the place, for what? Piece of land. So we wake up in the morning, we wake up in our bed, I should be feeling good. And that we should be thankful for and grateful for. Today, I want to start the show off. We got a legacy here, a young man. He's a grandmaster in the martial arts. He's also in the Martial Arts Hall of Fame. And to me, he's just a legend and a legacy. So without further ado.
Thank you, Kendall. Well, for all who don't know, my name is Dan Mcghee, known by my closest friends as Rising Sun. So I'm really happy to be here. And so forth.
Why Rising Sun?
Well, that's the name that my grandfather gave me. I'm half Seminole, so that's my name. I don't like to say native. That's just my name. I consider that my name. And so,
Rising Sun. That sounds like a pretty good name to have. You wake up in the morning, the first thing you see is the sunrise. That's a beautiful thing. So, you've been in martial arts how long?
Well, I started in 1956 with Moxie Lane.
Moxie Lane.
Moxie Lane. I was his first accidental student.
Accidental. All right.
And I stayed with him for a little over 10 years.
Mm-hmm.
And in 1965, 66, Ronald Duncan said 65, but it's noted as 66.
66.
I started with the father of American ninjutsu, and that was Ronald Duncan.
Yes, sir.
And Ronald Duncan was a very unusual man.
Mm.
He had skills far beyond the norm of the average individual. And let me say that it was Moxie Ling who introduced me to Ronald Duncan. Moxie Ling used to always tell me I'm a Chinese ninja. So, but with Moxie Ling, I've learned as a youngster anatomy, physiology, and we also learned about different herbs and things of that nature. With Ronald Duncan, he was more on the physical side. We learned hand-to-hand combat. Now, later on, I found a lot of the students at the dojo were like police officers.
Okay.
Some were federal investigators. You know, these guys were, you know, they were no nonsense men, and they had to rely on that training to survive in their work.
Yeah.
So it was not a joke. The key thing, what I liked about Ronald Duncan, he stated to me, "Do you consider yourself handicapped?" I said, "No, not really." He said, "Well, if you do, you can walk out the door because we're not going to treat you any different from anyone else. And really, you know, you're the perfect ninja because you don't look like you're gonna can do anything."
I've seen what you can do. I've seen what you can do.
Yeah.
I don't know about any disabilities or not, but I've seen what you can do. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
No.
Mr. Duncan.
Yeah. So that was, you know, I respected that.
Right.
The key thing here is that we have to always keep in mind that everything begins in mind or with a thought. And the way you think is going to shape and mold you to who you are going to become.
As they would say, put it in the air.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. And that's the key thing. If something's wrong or if I feel something's wrong, I won't say it. I won't say it. So the what I've learned, and I'm comparing the two instructors. I had three really instructors: Mark Celine, Professor Visitation,
I remember him,
and the Honorable Grandmaster Ronald Duncan. Those are the three people that I have really worked with. And each one contributed to who I am today. And that is the key. With Mark Celine, it was very mental. And everything begins in mind or with a thought. We had to learn that when we looked at an individual, we seen beneath the epidermis of that man. In other words, we've seen the bones, ligaments, the myological structure. We can almost see the blood flowing through his body. This is how you look at an individual. Because if you don't learn to see him as such, he might have a big head and mean looking face, and you'll be scared of him. You know? And what I've learned from old Sensei Duncan is a sin to fear another man. To fear another man is like putting paper in a shredder.
Right.
You know?
You should only fear God, the Creator. That's it, man.
That's it. So I put everything together. I learned to look at a person. Like you can take a man and throw him through his zygomatic bone. This is the cheekbone here. You know, pressure on the mandible. Throw him from the orbits. You can do a lot of things. But these are the basic formats because that is basically what I teach today. You know, I kept that tradition. I teach anatomy and physiology. And with the elder students, they learn kinetics.
Okay.
And besides learning kinetics, we study oceanography. We said, well, what does oceanography have to do? Because we study the waves.
The flow of the water.
The flow of the water. Because 3/4 of the world is water.
Is water.
3/4 of a year, a baby stays in the womb of its mother. And 3/4 of our body is water.
Is water.
So we want to respect those elements as we respect the light, the energy that flows around us. We have to tune ourselves with that. That's the key.
Sounds like it's mind, it's body, spirit, and all combined into one.
Body, mind, and spirit.
Body, mind, and spirit. So first we take care of the body, we take care of the mind, and then we take care of the spirit.
Yeah. And it all intunes itself with one. You see, you have to know who you are. That's our creed in the martial arts.
That's definitely key.
Yes. There's no way to study. No, I have to say it in two forms. I can say there's no way to study the word of God, but and understanding that in the martial arts, I don't I don't mix religion,
Mm-hmm.
but yet the reason why I don't mix religion, because I'm not a religious man.
Right.
Now, what do I mean by that? See, you could be a Jew, you could be a Muslim,
Right.
you could be a Christian, but if you're not living that life, what are you?
Just a man.
You're a hypocrite. You're a hypocrite. So the key thing,
Well, not to cut you off, but you know, there's a lot of hypocrites that walking the streets. I think at least 95% of the people are probably hypocrites in some way or another.
well, you're correct. So this is why I don't teach the art out of religion.
Mm-hmm.
This is why if I'm teaching about the holy book, I don't call it a religion.
Right.
It's a way of life. And the way you construct your energy
Mm-hmm.
is the way you're going to live.
Mm-hmm.
And that's how you want people to see. That's how I want my students to see it.
Yeah, you had a style, a name. Sorry, Angelica.
The name of the system that I teach is
Mhm.
called the angelic system.
Angelic system.
Yeah. So I don't, I don't like to, no disrespect to the Chinese
Mm-hmm.
or the Japanese.
Mm-hmm.
I believe that the martial arts derived from India and Africa
Mm-hmm.
before it came to China.
Mm-hmm.
I believe that. But it's noted as India brought it to China.
Mm-hmm.
Now the Chinese, they weren't talking in that Indian language. They didn't name it after anything from India.
Mm-hmm.
They used the Wushu, Jigong, whatever it is in Chinese, that they use their own tongue.
Mm-hmm.
The Japanese, they learned the Kung Fu styles from the Chinese,
Mm-hmm.
which the mother is called Shaolin. In Japanese, it was Shirinji. So they're not going to call it Shaolin. Japanese are not going to call it Shaolin. We are the only ones in America
Mm-hmm.
that wants to call it by a Japanese or Chinese name.
Yeah.
And we're like that.
Karate, Kung Fu.
Yeah. I don't teach karate. I don't teach kung fu.
Mm-hmm.
I teach a man how to survive, or a woman how to survive.
Mm-hmm.
This is what we teach. We teach the physiological aspect of the human body.
Mm-hmm.
Know yourself. Know how you are constructed. Because as you begin to learn about yourself, then you begin to wander into a new environment. The environment of the hidden mysteries of the self.
Mm.
Because within our body, we have chambers. Yes.
Most people don't even know where their kidneys are. To tell you the truth,
That's right.
you know, and it's good that you do know, because this helps out as we're coming along with healing. So along with martial arts, with the spiritual, so you, because of your martial arts training and your knowledge, you're able to heal.
That is true. It's the key, again, you're not going to be able to do any healing
Mm-hmm.
if you have no communications and no understanding.
Right.
I remember you was telling me the communications officer.
Yeah, yes, sir.
And the communications is the key aspect to the survival of the units.
We used to say, if a commander can't communicate, you can't command.
That is correct. And that is the same with the body.
Mm.
You've got to be able to communicate. Now, I'm going to share with you a secret with your audience.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? The secret of the master. I'm going to tell you the secret of the master. The secret of the master is not just to know who he is and what he is, and his strength,
Mm-hmm.
his weakness.
Mm-hmm.
And I also say that weakness is a treasure, because weakness enables you to appreciate strength.
Right.
And from that weakness, you develop a strength
Mm-hmm.
that you've never known you had. And if it wasn't for that weakness, perhaps you wouldn't be the man you are today.
This is true.
You see? So you want to know who you are. That's so important to know who you are. But then as you begin to discover the internal organs within the self, then we have to understand that this body is sacred. It's a temple. So within a temple, you have
Chambers.
but you have a father. You have a mother. Now somebody said, "Oh, what the heck are you talking about?" So just bear with me for a moment. We only use, this is what I learned when I was in school. Correct me if I'm wrong. We only use like 4.5% of our brain.
Yeah, about 5-6% of our brain. We don't use the full capacity.
Yeah.
We're not even close to full capacity.
And there's a reason for that. This is the secret of the master. And the reason for that is that the cells in our brain is dormant. That means it's just asleep. Or they're like dead. What we learn to do is to resurrect those cells. And how do we resurrect them?
Good question.
We talk to the brain.
To the brain?
To the brain.
Oh, to the brain.
I will talk to my brain just like I'm talking to you. Now, I'm not Michiganer
Right.
crazy, but I will talk to my brain just like I'm talking to you.
Right.
And what I do, I state to my brain how much I love him. Yeah. I constantly bring love to my brain. And the brain knows only what you say to it. It registers and it picks up. And as you transmit that love to the brain, those cells that were dormant begin to rise. And as they begin to rise, the mind begins to also open up the gateways.
So it seems the more you love yourself.
Well, that's the part of it. But you have another. There's a father, there's got to be a mother. You see? And the mother is the heart. She feeds the entire body from the source of the lungs, which we call the food of the gods. And I'm not trying to say that I believe in other gods besides one God. The food of the gods, we're made in the image of that God. That's what I was taught. So the food of the gods, that means the living soul that walk the earth is oxygen. And the blood receives that. It's the heart that when you tell her how much you love her, she begins to play beautiful music in your ear. She begins to beat, and your whole body develops a rhythm. And that rhythm flows like a pendulum. It flows. And when the heart and the brain both receive the love from above to below, they come together, and we call that internal copulation. And the mind transmits power.
Eternal copulation.
Internal copulation. That's what we call that.
Yeah, I love it.
Yeah. So it produces a power and energy, and the mind. For example, let this mind be in you, which was in the master. Oh, I'll say it right. Let this mind be in you, which was in Christ.
Right.
So that mind has to be, to have that kind of mind, you have to be in a superior state of being. And this is what the master strives for. To be in a superior state of being. That's the secret of the master. One of the secrets. We don't talk about that too much. But you've got to take time with yourself. Yes, you have to love yourself. Because if you don't love yourself, how can you love that which created you?
And you probably put a lot of toxins in your body that you don't need, that's going to mess up mama and papa.
Absolutely. So these are just little things that builds up the greatness within you. Because that which is great will reside in a person who's structured properly in mind and body. That's the key.
I believe we start out great, and you just mess it up the rest of the way.
Well, you got a point here.
Because just like going to school, I would always tell my students, you start out with an A.
Mm-hmm.
Everything else, you go down. That's you did that to go down. So same with our bodies and our mind and our spirit. We start out already great. We come out of the womb great. We come out of the womb pure.
Well, you know what? By saying that, I'll tell you another little story. The secret. A baby, or I should say an embryo, when he comes out of the womb of the mother, he cannot see. He physically cannot see. So the eye that he is in tune with is this eye right here. So we call that the first eye. Many people call it the third eye. But that's the first eye, because this is the source of recognition that a child has. And when that baby can sense the smell of his mother, he knows the voice of his father. He is the same as a blind man who is trained in the art of walking, seeing, doing everything. Except the child don't walk, but he sees everything. He's in tune to everything. So at that very early age, before the age of 2, he has all the secrets of the universe. Everything. He knows everything. But now, when a baby turns 2, we give him a bad name. We call him the terrible 2.
I don't know about a bad name.
Yeah, the terrible 2, because the child is going through a transition right now. All that knowledge that it had, it's gone. But yet it's inside. See, all the secrets of the universe we are born with, as you stated, is inside you. That's where it begins. Inside you. And as you begin to grow, everything becomes available for you to process all this knowledge.
I think you had the knowledge when you're born, and I guess those terrible 2s you forget everything that you learned. Now you have to learn everything all over again.
Knowledge is a gift that belongs to no one, but it is a treasure for that person who seeks her. And when you seek her, she will make herself available to you.
And you must be an all learner.
Take it a step at a time.
So, martial arts.
Well, this is all martial arts.
Right.
Because you want to understand that martial arts is not, fighting is only maybe 10% of it. You have to be secure mentally. You have to understand physically where you are. When I was a small child, I got a polio shot. Yeah, got a polio shot. At that time, in the late 40s, in the early 50s, they were giving you the virus, the live virus. Yeah. And I got that shot 3 days, according to my mother. After I got that shot, I sat in the corner and couldn't move. I was like this, just like that. Yep. And I wanted to know what I did. Why did this happen to me? I had answers that I thought I had, but I didn't know what I thought. My imagination was just going haywire. I didn't like God. I didn't like God at all. What? Is it a God? Why'd you do this to me?
Yeah.
You know? Why?
What did I do?
Yeah.
I'm just a kid.
But anyway, I had a kid's mind. And that mind had to be matured. I had to learn how to transform and redirect my energy.
Mm-hmm.
I had to learn that at an early age in order for me to walk straight. Kids played with me, they made fun of me.
Mm-hmm.
And that's normal. Kids will do that.
Right.
If you're different, they're going to do that.
Mm-hmm.
I was ashamed to take my shirt off and go swimming. I'm not now.
I had the Kunta. Because my name is Kendall.
Yeah.
They go, hey, Kunta Kinte. You know?
So what I'm saying is that, in reality, that was my first form of martial arts.
Mm.
In fighting, we learn how to redirect the energy of an opponent. So his force, we welcome it so we can bring him down.
All right.
It's the same when we are challenged or struck with some type of disorder. We have to discover how to redirect it, no matter what it is. I don't care if it's cancer, I don't care what it is. We have to learn how to redirect that.
Mm.
And the mind has to be superiorly strong. Because if it's not, we're going to wonder, why am I getting this? Why? What did I do?
Mm.
You know, you can't blame God if you believe in God. You can't. Or you're going to end up knocking your own self out.
Mm-hmm.
So what I'm saying is that martial arts is more than just fighting. We receive challenges daily. And how you meet that challenge determines whether you're going to stand or fall or be knocked out.
Mm.
That's it. In every aspect. I teach my children. When you go to school, that's martial arts. It's preparing you for life.
Mm-hmm.
And if you're not prepared, you might end up suffering. You might end up suffering.
Mm. So
it is a form. And especially when I teach anatomy and physiology, I let them know when you're studying your biology, when you're studying whatever it is they're teaching you, learn it, understand it, move with it. When I was a child, they gave us a test in anatomy. We had to write all the bones down.
I remember.
Yeah, and I was so bored in that class, I fall asleep all the time. And I remember when they gave us the test, I just gave it back. She thought I cheated.
Mm.
Yeah, she thought I cheated. Yeah.
Mm.
I didn't cheat. But that was for her. I said I didn't cheat. And I was a very outspoken little kid.
I can tell.
You know? Yeah. I said, listen, why do you think I'm lying to you? And then I was too outspoken. I said, I probably know more about the human body than you do. That she didn't like that.
No, of course not. She's a teacher.
Yeah.
Was your father disciplined like that? I mean, I understand you got a lot of your discipline from martial arts, but it seems like you got it from somewhere else too.
If I got it from anybody, it might have been my mother.
Really? What type of woman was she?
She was very powerful. She was a healer. She was a shaman.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. My father was a good man.
Some people don't know what a shaman is. I mean, I do. But
yeah.
Elaborate a little bit on what a shaman is.
She was a healer.
A healer.
Yes, she was a healer.
Mm-hmm. And where would I find a shaman, per se? I mean, I know some people say witch doctor. So, you know, they give them all you know, they give people labels.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, I understand that's the doctor. She was a doctor, but more with not traditional medicine, if you want to say.
It was non-traditional. She did that. She did midwifery.
Right.
You know, she did a lot of few things. And a lot of people thought she was some kind of witch.
Mm-hmm.
You know, because they didn't understand.
Most people, when they don't understand something, especially in this country, you kill it, and they want to destroy something that they don't understand.
Yeah.
That's I guess that's human nature.
Yeah.
Shoot first, ask questions later.
Yeah. My father, he was a good man,
Mm-hmm.
but he was he used to box in his young days.
Mm.
But as he got older, the only thing he cared about was the green dollar.
Mm.
And he was a worker. He was a hustler.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so he used to hustle in New York. He used to sell pretzels in front of A&S downtown Brooklyn.
Just in case they don't know, that's Abrahams and Strauss. And when he says downtown Brooklyn, he's talking about Fulton Street.
yeah, yeah. So I mean, he was a good man.
Yeah.
He was a very good man, strong, powerful man.
Mm-hmm.
And he had something to say. He'd say it,
Mm-hmm.
and so forth. But and I go returning to martial arts. You have to know who you are.
Right.
You have to understand the elements inside of you. You have to understand the brain and how it works, the heart and how it works. More people know more about computers than they know about their heart, and their brain, and their body. That's the same. I mean, maybe I shouldn't pass judgment like that, but in my opinion,
Well, the computer was kind of designed like the way the human brain is designed. You have a central processor. I was an old computer guy, but your brain, the computer is set up the same way your brain operates.
Mhm.
Information out, just to be able to do that.
Mhm.
You don't even, not even a thought. That's the same way you hit a key on a computer, it pops up on the screen. So I'm not trying to compare.
No, but it's no. I mean, it's what can I say? It's so open.
Mm-hmm.
Even when you eat, it's martial arts.
Mm.
Because if you don't eat right, you're gonna end up getting sick. Or you're gonna be putting things into your body you shouldn't be putting in your body, and you're gonna end up with all kind of disorders.
Mm-hmm.
Anything that's going to take you away from the reality of who you're supposed to be within the best of health, and it's going to destroy you, you got to be aware and defend yourself against that.
Mm-hmm.
So you have to learn. You have to learn. The old saying said, "How are you going to learn without a teacher?" So you have to learn.
And get a good teacher.
Well, what did we say? When the student is ready, the teacher will be.
Mm-hmm. Are you? You're not. Are you at the Wolf Den, or you?
I'm at Wolf Den. Right now, I haven't been at Wolf Den for about a month now.
Mm-hmm.
Been training my son Angelo. A lot of you guys know Angelo. He's a boxer. He's wrestling now at the East High School.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, Pocono East. So he's seemed to like that, and so he comes home from wrestling. I train him in boxing. Getting him ready, getting him prepared, and he's going to be 17, and hopefully at 18, he said he wants to be a professional. So Wolf Den, if you don't know, it's downtown on Main Street. It's one of the yes, it's one of the
Well, you might not be able to see, but this is a picture of he and his son, and this is his son, and he's holding a big old trophy up there. You see? So here we have like father, like son, carrying on the tradition.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. And you say he's doing wrestling now.
He's wrestling now.
Traditional wrestling?
High school, right? Like collegiate wrestling.
Okay.
So that's pretty good. And he started at a young age. I started training him, and as soon as he could walk, just about. And he did jujitsu and various other arts he was trained in. And
any Bushido?
Well, Bushido is like a code, and so forth. It is a code. It's a way of discipline. But so he had that. He gets that from me. I'm stern, but I'm also soft. And again, too, the best way you could be a father to a son is by the way you conduct yourself. See, because in my opinion A father is to see that the son goes farther in life than he is going. And I should say father, but it should be further. But I want to correlate the word father and father.
Mhm.
So that's what you basically want to do. You want to be there for them.
In my household, we have a saying, lead by example. So this is actually that's something that I learned in the military. My father was non-existent, so military more or less the guys there they became my father, and that's one of the things that they taught us is that whatever I tell you to do, I'm not going to tell you to do something that I wouldn't do myself. So and then you have to lead by example. You tell your kid go to school, you should go to school. Well, then you should be able to speak about your experiences. You understand what I mean?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But that's it's simple.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I can talk all day and night about the martial arts or this and that, but there are codes and things to remember.
Mm-hmm.
In my studies, I live by the seven principles, and the seven principles is I didn't create it, I didn't make it up,
Mm-hmm.
but I was taught these principles at a young age. The first principle, mind I share them with you.
No, please, please.
The first principle is to know that the mind of God is everything.
Mm.
And you got to attune yourself with that mind. The second principle is correspondence.
Mm-hmm.
You have to correspond. You have to communicate. You have to, just like we said, we communicate with the body.
Mm-hmm.
You have to communicate with the Creator. In that communications, you have to transmit love, like you've never transmitted it before.
Mm.
And as you begin to do that, you develop a relationship with yourself. That is the beginning of empowerment.
Mm.
The third principle is vibration. Everything vibrates. It vibrates according to how you conceive in mind.
Mm-hmm.
And as you conceive it in mind and believe it in heart, that energy begins to explode, take shape, and take form.
Mm-hmm.
But all that begins within the beginning, because everything begins in mind, or everything begins with a thought. As a martial artist, we learn that if we truly want something, we conceive it in our mind and we believe it in our heart. If we want to be a good fighter,
Mm-hmm.
or even a good teacher, a good person, we conceive in our mind that which we want to be. So we give it shape and we give it form. So that vibration begins to take place.
Mm-hmm.
And it makes it happen. Makes it happen.
Mm-hmm.
And you possess the enemy, the energy
Mm-hmm.
from the relationship of 1 and 2, going to 3.
Mm-hmm.
Number 4 is polarization. You polarize with that energy. That's the format of becoming one with that energy. That's the format of conceiving in mind. You polarize with it. There is a oneness with it. There is no separation with you and the power which empowers you. None whatsoever. And from that, we go to the 5th, which is rhythm. So everything will flow, 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 flow,
Mm-hmm.
flow, flow, flow. Everything flows. And as everything flows, you're able to understand the process of energy. Because energy is a precious commodity.
Mm-hmm.
You do not want to waste it. So now, the 6th is cause and effect.
Mm-hmm.
So now we understand how this is working. Because for every cause, there's an effect, and for every effect, there's a cause. A good example, I tell my children, If you're good, you'll be rewarded.
Right.
And if you're bad, you'll be punished.
Mhm.
Okay? That's the simplest way of bringing out cause and
Right.
effect. Now, the seventh principle is the most powerful principle of all, and that is gender. Gender.
Right gender.
Well, we know the gender of a man is a male, and the gender of a female is what?
Female.
It's a female, it's a woman. But we're not talking about that type of gender. The highest form of gender that a man or a woman must strive to become one with
Mhm.
is spirit.
Mhm.
The true master is a spirit. He is not a man, he is not a woman, but he is a spirit.
Mhm.
So we strive to become one with the spirit, that energy, that life force that gives us life. And as we become one with that life force, then we become one, made in his image, and able to move forward.
Well, I guess meditation, that's what I was thinking about. I guess that would be one way to communicate.
Well,
I mean, some people would use prayer.
for prayer is the essence of it all. That's the communications.
Right.
The meditation is not as easy as we think it is. But most people can't be still. Most people can't be still. Most people cannot sit still for 10 minutes. And if they're sitting still for 10 minutes, their mind is wandering all over the place.
All over the place.
So it's a practice where you have to earn the right to sit still
Mhm.
and know that the true master is with you. You have to know that. You have to know in meditations, you have to know how to breathe. Yes. And if you don't know how to breathe properly, you're not going to really meditate properly. So this is very important to understand. Again, you have to be in tune with yourself.
Right.
Meditation is beautiful. So once you practice meditation, you start off. Maybe start off with a 30 seconds meditation,
Mhm.
maybe a 60 seconds meditation, until you can work your way to just being still for 1 hour.
I find that when I listen, if I meditate, see, when I do meditation, I'm more or less either trying to solve a problem
Mhm.
or just thinking about my day and what I kind of go through steps of my day,
Mhm.
what took place during the day,
Mhm.
good, bad, right, wrong, whatever.
Uh-huh.
I combine all that together, and I know the breathing techniques and so forth. I can't do it for an hour. I'm good for about a good half an hour.
Well, that's good.
Yeah, I'm good for about a
That's
good
good.
half an hour, and it does help. Meditation does help
Oh yeah.
because I still have to take the traditional medication for the military, PTSD.
Oh.
And I would really love to get away from it because a lot of the medications that we take now come with all the side effects.
Mhm.
And the medication they give you for that is no different. It does come with side effects.
Well, maybe sometime you get together with me.
Mhm.
I'll introduce you to the greatest pharmaceutical company on the planet. Actually, there's two that I know.
Mm.
The first one is inside you. Every organ in your body secretes a hormone. And when we understand, we don't have the time to go into that now, but when we understand the chemicals that they secrete, and we're talking about mind directing and redirecting,
Mhm.
you can learn how to direct and redirect that energy within you to produce the perfect medication. Just from what's inside you already.
I'm just going to use the Chinese term, but would that be the same as what they call qi?
Well, that is chi, energy,
Mm-hmm.
but it's chi, ki, prana, endotomic energy. whatever you want to call it.
Mm-hmm.
But you remember this, that everything begins in mind or with a thought. So you have to learn to regulate that energy.
Mm-hmm.
That's the key. That's the number one. That's the key.
And this will help you to learn how to control your body.
Oh, it's helped me do a lot of things. And then the next, my backyard, I go a little bit further out there to the woods. So in the woods, the big trees, there's I have weeds, I have plants, there are flowers. There's so much medication, my herbal medication.
Yeah, I was telling you about the hibiscus, right?
Yeah.
About how it helps to lower your blood pressure, and it really does.
Mhm.
You get the hibiscus tree. I need to drink more and more green tea and more of the teas because I actually see the results, and I don't just see them as me physically. I see the numbers.
Mm-hmm.
You know, from my blood tests and all. I
Mhm.
went today. I took a blood test, right? I
Mhm.
took the pressure.
Mm-hmm.
One was it 128/70.
Mm-hmm.
And this is the guy that they would last year I was on metropolol,
Okay.
you see? And I started drinking that hibiscus, do a little bit more exercise, running and stuff.
Mhm.
And now it's like my blood pressure was perfect.
Well, that's good.
So I'm a believer that, you know,
Well,
we don't really need. I'm not going to say need. Sometimes there is a need, and I wouldn't want to give out the wrong information. So, but I believe that there are alternative medications. There are alternative things that we can do to help heal our own body.
well, I like to share this. I have a student named Dr. Shakira Moore. She is an iridologist.
Mm-hmm.
And I left a card. I meant to bring it, but she is an iridologist. And I think she'd be wonderful for you to communicate with. She's can look into your eyes and tell you exactly what's there.
I'd love to have her on the show.
I'll bring it to her attention.
She can come on the show. We love to have her talk.
Yeah, and she's a very gifted, talented.
Right.
She's one of my top students.
Right.
She's also a black belt,
Right.
black belt, and she's very good with the herbs, and she's gifted with an array of knowledge.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, that's what we need. The job here, that my job here at this station is to provide the community
Mhm.
with information.
Yes.
So this is why I ask people like yourself and other experts to come onto the show
Mhm.
so that we can pass out information to the community.
Mm-hmm.
Right? We're Unity in the Community, genesisradio.com. If you want to reach out to us, it's 888-304-4401. Do you have a contact that if people want to reach out to you?
Well, I have. I'm a very private person. I can give you a number where they can reach me: 570 350 7350. I'm also a boxing coach and a martial arts instructor. Those of you, if you have children who are having difficulty in school, maybe discipline, I might be able to help. But you would have to call, and I would have to interview the child. I do not charge for the interview. I do accept donations. I am not a commercial instructor. But if the child can be helped, and you want that child to be helped, I will help if I can help.
Well, it sounds like you want to make him a better person. That seems like your job is to take a person and make them the best that they can be for themselves.
Yeah.
I was dealing with some holistic people not too long ago. A young lady, her name is Karen Pascal,
Mm-hmm.
and she was very helpful when it came to explaining about how to help heal your body, mind, and soul. Is that the correct?
Okay, no, that's good.
Body, mind, and soul.
Mm-hmm.
And you know, with you sitting here today, and you I'm just learning a lot of things about what I should do for my own body. You know, because we have a lot of things going on in our body. You know, cancer, prostate cancer, colon cancer, and just the environment itself seems to be toxic.
Yeah.
So you're running, you're jumping, you're drinking all the water, you're doing all the exercise, and you're still getting sick.
Well, one of the things too, sometimes we have to make our own sacrifices.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the greatest sacrifices that we can give our body is fasting.
Mm.
You know, when we fast, we kill a lot of those cells that are alive, eating off what you might be eating, which is not good.
Mm.
And that's the key thing. Everybody's different. Everybody's diet may be different. So you have to be able to sit down, especially if you go to an iridologist and they look into your eyes and say, you eat this, you eat that. Boy, look at this. I can see this. Before it happens, you're able to deal with it. So, to be warned, the old African saying, to be warned is to be armed.
To be foretold, to be forewarned.
Yeah, be forewarned. Yeah, is to be armed. Thank you for that correction.
Yes, sir.
So and that's the very important. That is very, very important. We're here as a community. We should be able to reach out and help one another within the community.
That's within this community. And this is what we try to do here. Like I said before, that's genesisradio.com.
Mhm.
We're unity in the community. This is the Empowerment Show. Thank you very much, sir.
It was a pleasure.
It was my pleasure. My pleasure. And peace. We're out.
Thank you for watching. Please like this video and subscribe to our channel.